All right, chapter P, section 3. Everybody in this room has seen this before. If you came from an Algebra 1 honors class or Geometry honors, you have seen this before, so it's wonderful. We're going to add and subtract polynomials. How do you add and subtract polynomials? You combine like terms. Ignore the coefficient, guys. Not talking about the coefficient, but the term must be identical in order to combine it. If you have x, y, and z, they all have to have, x has to have the same exponent, y the same exponent, z the same exponent. So let's start off with number 2. First thing I want you guys to do, because a common mistake I see, because some of us think, oh, this is easy, I've done this a million times, so we kind of rush through it, we make silly mistakes. One of the mistakes we make, what is in between these two parentheses? A plus sign. On the test, you'll have one of these and then one below it that says multiply, and you guys confuse them. Look in between the parentheses before you just start multiplying. That says that first parenthesis plus the second one. Do I have to distribute this plus sign? Do I have to rewrite anything? Or can I just combine like terms? You can just combine like terms. You always start with the highest exponent. What is the highest exponent you guys see? X cubed. So I have a 5x cubed here and a positive 1x cubed here. Gives me how many? 6x cubed. My next exponent would be a negative 7x squared plus 2x squared. Negative 5x squared. What comes next? Minus x. Good. Minus x. And then? Plus 5. Perfect. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. How is 3 different from 2? There's a minus sign in the middle. Does that mean anything? What do I have to do? I'm going to subtract. I have to distribute the negative, right? Some of you like to go through and just change the signs within. I like to remind myself that that negative sign goes to everything, and I'm going to rewrite. So I have 2x squared plus 1 minus x squared, then what? Plus 2x, good, then what? Minus 1. And now we combine like terms. 2x squared minus x squared gives you what? 2x squared minus x squared gives you 1x squared. The sign in front of the term sticks with it, guys. Then what? What comes next? Plus 2x, good. And then what happens to my positive and negative 1? They cancel. So there we go. Got to be good with our signs here. All right, let's look at let's do 4. What do we have to remember first? Distribute that negative. So I have 7x to the 4th minus x squared minus 4x plus 2. Then minus 3x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 3x. Take a second to check. Make sure you didn't skip any signs or anything like that. You rewrote everything correctly. And now we start with the highest exponent. 7x to the 4th minus 3x to the 4th. 4x to the 4th, good. If you want to cross them out that you already dealt with them, fine. What comes next? Do I have any x cubed?
Yeah.
Where? I don't see any x cubes.
Oh, no, squared.
You guys, we got squared, right? So I have a positive 4x squared minus 1x squared. Nope. Positive 4 minus 1 is going to give me 3x squared. Then I have a minus 4x and a minus 3x is what? Minus 7x. Minus 4 minus 3 is negative 7. And then plus 2. Good. All right, we get to a problem like number 5. Does anybody know where to start with number 5? Okay, we should start with the brackets. We need to work inside out. But what do I need to do first? Should I distribute or should I combine inside? Okay, let's work from the inside out. Let's combine inside. So I have y cubed plus 1 minus, then leave your bracket there. Let's work from the inside out. So I have y squared. Do you guys agree? Y squared plus 3y minus 6. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do I have to do with that negative sign? Distribute it. So y cubed y cubed plus 1 minus y squared minus 3y plus 6. Okay. So y cubed minus y squared, then what? Minus 3y plus 7. Everybody okay? All right, let's scoot along. Right? This is the last one on this page. Now we're going to multiply. Multiplying is a little different, right? We've already multiplied same bases. What do you do when you're multiplying same base? What do you do to the exponents? Add them. Okay, multiply coefficients, then multiply the variables. You're going to add the exponents. We've already talked about this. When you have two binomials, that means two terms in one parenthesis and two terms in another parenthesis. Use the FOIL method, and then we're going to combine like terms. So again, I'm not going to do every one of these. Is this a foiling problem, number 7? Do I have two binomials that I'm multiplying together? No, we're just distributing. So first times first. What's negative 3 times 5? Negative 15. This becomes x what? Squared. Negative 3x times 2. Negative 6x. Can I combine anything? No. You cannot combine those two because x squared is not the same as x. So you're done there. Right there. You guys are done. Look at 9. Is 9 a different problem? Like a different kind of problem?
Yeah.
How come?
It's three things instead of parentheses.
It's written, the reason I don't like it is because it's written backwards. Right? Doesn't it look better if it's like this? Does that make you feel better when it's like that?
Where do you get the 2y?
From right here?
Oh, 9, not
I just rewrote it. So if you guys feel better by rewriting it like that, go ahead. If not, no big deal. The process is still the same. We're going to multiply. What is 2y cubed times 2? 4y cubed. Perfect. And then what is 2y cubed times negative 3y? Negative 6y to the 4th. Do I love the way that that's written? Why not? Tell me, Jake.
The larger exponent is in the back.
I would like the larger exponent to be first, guys. You need to get in the habit of writing in descending order. So when I rewrite this, do you guys agree with me? It's negative 6y to the 4th plus 4y cubed. The sign in front of the term stays with it. So that negative is with the 6y to the 4th. There's no sign in front of 4, so we just assume it's positive. Questions? Everybody all right? Okay. All right, let's do 11. Everybody can do 10, I know. Let's do 11. I have a binomial times the binomial. Notice, guys, in between these two parentheses, do you see anything? No. If two parentheses are just stuck together, you're multiplying. That's it. So let's FOIL. First times first. What's 3 times 5? 15. And then x times x is x squared. Perfect. 3x times 7. 21x. Good. Negative 2 times 5x. Minus 10x. Perfect. Negative 2 and 7. Negative 14. And what can we do in the middle? Combine like terms. So I have 15x squared plus 11x minus 14. Perfect. Is this fun today?
Easier.
Let's do 13. First times first. 7x times 4x. 28x squared. 7x and negative 3. Negative 21x. Negative 2 and 4x. Negative 8x. Negative 2 and negative 3. Plus 6. What can we do in the middle? Combine like terms. I have 28x squared. Negative 21 minus 8. Negative 29. Good. Negative 29x plus 6. Questions? Okay. Is this problem any more difficult? A little bit. Why is it a little bit harder? Just annoying. This is an annoying problem because it's just longer, right? You've got to be careful. However you guys need to keep yourself organized, you need to do that. I'm going to do 15. All this is a big distribution problem. I'm going to take the first term and multiply it to everything in the second. Then I'm going to take the second term, and then I'm going to take the third term. So let's start off here. 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the fourth power. Good. Okay, so 2x squared times 3x. 6x cubed. Okay, 2x squared times 2. 4x squared. If you guys want to come in here on test day and use my color pencils, you're more than welcome to. I'm now going to take negative x. What's negative x times x squared? Negative x cubed. Okay. What's negative x and 3x? Minus 3x squared. Negative x and 2. Minus what? 2x. Good. All right. And then lastly, we're going to take the 4. So 4 times x squared. 4 times 3x. 12x. And then 4 times 2. 8. Now, what do I do with this? All of this? We're going to combine like terms. What's the highest exponent you see? To the fourth. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite 2x to the fourth because there's nothing else that has a fourth on it. And I'm just going to cross it out so I don't get myself confused. So now I look at my cubes. I have a positive 6x cubed and a negative x cubed. What's 6x cubed minus 1x cubed? Plus 5x cubed. Good. Okay, those are done. I have a positive 4x squared minus 3x squared is what? What is it? X squared. And then I have a plus 4x squared. Plus 5x squared. Good. Those are done. 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 What about here? Negative 2x and positive 12x.
10x.
Plus 10x. And then we can't forget about what? 8, or constant. Number without a variable is called your constant. I know everybody in here can handle that. It's just a matter of taking your time and not making silly mistakes. Everybody got it? Special products. How many of you have seen these special products before? What's this one called? Anybody know? Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. Anybody know what this one's called? Difference of perfect squares, right? If the two terms are the same, first one's the same, second one's the same, but the signs are in the middle, what's going to happen when we multiply them together? The middle terms cancel. And the other cases, they don't. These are patterns that some of you are going to try to memorize. You don't need to. All this is just a quicker way to know what your answer is going to be when you have a specific type of pattern. But if you just multiply, you're fine. So let's talk about this. I'm going to do 17, but I'm changing it to x and y. So it's 4x plus 5y, 4x minus 5y, right? What do you notice about these two parentheses? They're opposites of each other, right? They're the same terms, just one has a positive, one has a negative. So when we FOIL this, guys, 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x and negative 5 minus 20xy. Positive 5y and 4x plus 20xy. And then what happens when I have a positive 5y and a negative 5y? No. Minus 25y squared. What happens in the middle here? They cancel. Anytime you have two binomials that you're multiplying together, the first term and the second term are the same. The only thing that's different is the sign in the middle. When you FOIL them, the middle term should cancel. And then you're left with 16x squared minus 25y squared. So now this is the difference of perfect squares. 16 is a perfect square, x squared is a perfect square, 25 is a perfect square, y squared is a perfect square. Difference means minus sign. If you don't recognize that right off the bat, if you don't look at that and go, oh, the middle terms are going to cancel out, who cares? Just FOIL it, and then it'll naturally happen. What does 19 say? Do I take this 2 and just distribute it here and there? No. You do not do that. What do? I write this parenthesis twice. That says 5 minus 8x quantity squared. That means I write 5 minus 8x 2 times. If you want to rewrite it as negative 8x plus 5, you can, but you don't have to. So now we FOIL. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times negative 8, negative 40x. Negative 8 and 5, negative 40x. Negative 8, negative 8, positive 64x squared. Combine like terms in the middle. Are those going to cancel? No. It's 25 minus 80x plus 64x squared. Can you write that prettier for me, please? Perfect. Now, if you were to recognize that you're taking the same parenthesis and multiplying by itself twice, you notice you're going to take the first and the last term and do what to it? My first term is 5, my second term, backwards I know, but 8 and 5. When you square them, do you guys get 25 and 64? And then notice what happened in the middle. You take 5 times negative 8 and multiply it by what? 2. So in this case, instead of the middle ones canceling out, since it's 2 of the same parentheses, your first and last term are squared, but to get the middle term, you multiply the 2 together and times it by 2. But again, if you don't see that, who cares? Just write it and multiply. Not a big deal. Okay. How is 21 a little different? Cubed. Well, what does that mean? I'm going to write it how many times? 3 times. So 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 2 times what? 3x plus 2. Okay, anybody in here, have you heard of Pascal's triangle? Pascal's triangle? I'll show you a shortcut. You guys aren't going to learn it. I'll just show you a shortcut just at the end if we have time. How do I go about multiplying this? Do I just multiply them all together at the same time? Patricio.
Do the first two, then the answer, then multiply with the second.
Okay. I personally, everybody always says do the first two. I always leave the first one by itself and do the second two. I don't know why. I just rewrite this one because I like it at the front for whatever reason. And then I multiply here. What's 3 times 3? So I have 9x squared, 3x and 2, plus 6x, 2 and 3x, plus 6x, 2 times 2, 4. Now, if you notice the special pattern, you could have said it's going to be 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. If you notice the pattern. If you don't, again, no big deal. So I have 3x plus 2 out in front. And then here I have 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. And then what do I do again? Am I done? No, I have to multiply again, right? So 3x times 9x squared is 27x cubed. 3x and positive 12x is plus 36x squared. 3x and 4 is 12x, okay. All right, now I'm going to take 2. 2 times 9x squared. Perfect. 2 times 12x. 24x, good. And then 2 times 4, 8. And then what do we do with this mess? Combine like terms, right? What's my highest exponent I see? Okay, so I have 27x cubed. Nothing else has an x cubed, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Then I have a 36x squared and an 18x squared. Gives me 54x squared. 12x and a 24x. 36x. And little 8, right? Plus 8. Now, is there a lot of room for error in a problem like that? 100%. This is a concept that we see a lot of mistakes on because you get a little relaxed. You're like, oh, this is so easy. We've done this before. You try to go fast. That's where we tend to make mistakes. So just make sure you guys recheck that you wrote the problem down correctly. See if make sure your signs are right. Make sure you added the like terms correctly, that you have a negative and a positive stays negative if the negative's bigger or whatever. Just make sure you guys are on top of things is all I'm saying. Let's do 24. Where should I start? Does it matter? Could I just rewrite the first parenthesis, multiply the second one into the third one, and then absolutely. But what would be the easier thing to do? Why the first one and the second one? The middle terms are going to cancel, right? When I multiply these, it's the difference of perfect squares. X times x is x squared. X and negative y is minus xy. Y and x is plus xy. And then y and negative y is minus y squared, correct? What happens with the middles? They cancel. So I'm left with x squared minus y squared times x squared plus y squared. What's going to happen? The middle term's going to cancel again. When I FOIL this, x squared and x squared is x to the fourth. X squared and y squared. Negative x squared, y squared, right? And then minus y to the fourth. And then what happens in the middle? These cancel. So you have x to the fourth minus y to the fourth. Good job. Okay, the last thing to look at is this problem. As soon as we put words into problems, they become very hard, right? Is this considered a word problem?
Yes.
No. There's only 2 words in it. It says subtract blah, 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 blah from blah, 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 blah. Why does order matter? Because you're subtracting. If it said add these 2 together, it wouldn't matter. But it says to subtract. So which parenthesis do I put first? Tell me. The second one. Good. The last one. This says 2x to the fourth minus 10x cubed minus 4x minus negative 7x to the fourth plus 5x squared minus 1. Why did I put the second parenthesis in parentheses? Why didn't I just write out what was inside of it? Because there's a negative, we're subtracting, so I need to distribute. I need to remind myself, hey, all of these signs need to change before I combine. So I'm going to rewrite 2x to the fourth minus 10x cubed minus 4x. Then what? Plus 7x to the fourth minus 5x squared plus 1. Perfect. And now we combine. What's the like term? X to the fourths. I got 2 of them and 7 of them. So total of 9 of them. Good. 9x to the fourth. Now what? Is anything else going to combine? Nope, because nothing else has a like term. So rewrite in descending order and make sure the sign in front stays with the term. Everybody okay?